Longtime Republican leader, Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, abruptly froze during a press conference in Covington, Kentucky. This incident, which occurred when McConnell was asked about his plans for re-election in 2026, was the second such episode on camera in recent weeks. McConnell, 81, appeared thinner and paler than in recent months and stood motionless for around 30 seconds, unable to continue speaking or move. This event has raised questions about McConnell's health and his ability to continue serving in the Senate. McConnell has appeared increasingly frail following a series of falls and a serious head injury earlier this year. Arizona Secretary of State Adrian Fontes has revealed that his office is considering how to address potential complaints that could disqualify former President Donald Trump from appearing on the 2024 ballot. The issue is based on the 14th Amendment, which disallows individuals who have participated in insurrection or rebellion from holding public office. This theory, proposed by former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson at a recent GOP presidential debate, suggests that Trump's actions on January 6, 2021, could disqualify him. While some legal scholars support this theory, others dismiss it. Election officials are now determining how to respond to potential legal challenges against Trump. Fontes explained that a final certification of eligible candidates for the primary ballot must be completed by December 14 for Arizona's presidential preference election. Given the likelihood of court involvement, Fontes emphasized the seriousness of the situation. New Hampshire Secretary of State David Scanlon is facing a similar issue, with a potential challenge to Trump being considered in his state by a former Republican ally of Trump. Both Fontes and Scanlon have stressed the importance of running an election and knowing who is eligible. They have clarified that they are not taking a stance on the issue, but are focusing on how to handle potential challenges. Rudy Giuliani, former New York City mayor, has been ordered to pay tens of thousands in fines for refusing to turn over electronic records in a defamation case filed by Georgia election workers, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. The ruling was made by Judge Beryl Howell, who Giuliani criticized for her treatment of January 6 defendants. The defamation case can now proceed to a federal court trial in Washington, D.C. The exact amount Giuliani will have to pay is unclear, but the fines could reach nearly $90,000. In addition, Giuliani and his business entities are required to pay more than $130,000 in attorney's fees and other costs. Freeman and Moss, who were election workers in the 2020 cycle, demanded records for their defamation case against Giuliani, who refused to hand them over. Giuliani claimed that he was unable to provide the evidence because it was part of a federal investigation into efforts by Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. Giuliani argued that the FBI had all his material and compromised some of it during a 3-year investigation. The defamation case against Giuliani stems from his false claims of vote rigging against Freeman and Moss following the 2020 presidential election. Giuliani previously admitted that his statements about the two were false. The two claim their reputations were damaged by Giuliani's remarks. Judge Howell has given Giuliani a final opportunity to produce the requested information for the case's discovery or face additional sanctions. Giuliani is also facing a civil trial in Washington, D.C. federal court to determine how much he will need to pay in the defamation case. He is facing significant legal costs, including a $20,000 monthly fee to a company hosting his electronic records. Giuliani is one of 18 co-defendants charged with former President Trump in Fulton County for a scheme to illegally overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. He turned himself in to authorities at Fulton County Jail last week. Freeman and Moss's complaint from December 2021 accuses Giuliani of defaming them by falsely claiming they engaged in fraud while counting ballots at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, following the 2020 election. Giuliani also denied allegations of being intoxicated while advising Trump around Election Day 2020, a matter that Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigators have been probing. The Green Party of England and Wales faces a potential financial crisis due to a series of legal challenges. The party's accounts indicate significant doubt about its future as a going concern. The uncertainty centers around impending legal claims from several gender-critical activists, including former deputy leader Shara Ali. Ali, who was joint deputy leader from 2014 to 2016, is suing the party over alleged discrimination based on his views about gender and sex. Ali launched his legal challenge in February 2022, claiming he had been unfairly sacked from his role as party spokesperson for policing due to his gender-critical beliefs. He alleges a coordinated campaign of discrimination and victimization was conducted against him by members of the party. His legal action has resulted in negative national news coverage and a significant financial burden for the party. Two other legal actions are adding to the financial pressure. Emma Bateman, a former co-chair of Green Party Women, GPW, claims she was suspended and then expelled for speaking up about women's sex-based rights. Dawn Furness, also a former chair of GPW, is taking the party to court for alleged institutional sexism and discrimination based on her gender-critical beliefs. These ongoing legal challenges could severely impact the party's capacity to campaign in the next general election. The party has reportedly tried to settle with Ali, but his demands for changes to the party's disciplinary process were deemed unacceptable. If Ali and the others lose their cases, the party could potentially recoup their legal fees, although this could be seen as pursuing their own members for costs. In response to the financial challenges, the Green Party is reducing outgoings and freezing funds going to local party branches. A spokesperson stated they are confident of their position and will not comment further while proceedings are ongoing. The party's annual accounts indicate uncertainty about its ability to continue as a going concern, but the party is confident it can implement cost-cutting strategies if necessary. The Green Party's membership dropped by 5% last year to just over 50,000, but income remained relatively steady at just over £3 million. The issue of trans rights and self-identification has been a major dividing line in the party over the past 3 years. Last October, the Scottish Green Party voted to end ties with the party in England and Wales over alleged transphobia. Trans cyclist Emily Bridges was the only athlete included in Vogue magazine's list of powerful females, which has sparked controversy. Critics argue that the inclusion of Bridges, who was born biologically male, sends a negative message to girls and undermines the achievements of biological female athletes. The decision has been criticized by feminist groups and figures in women's sports. Some speculate that the inclusion of Bridges was a deliberate attempt to stir controversy or signal support for trans rights. The list's critics argue that it is especially problematic given the high rates of depression among girls and the importance of sports as a source of positive role models and a healthy distraction from harmful social media pressures. British Cycling has since announced a ban on transgender women competing in women's events, making the men's category an open one. Chinese tech giant Baidu has publicly launched ERNIE Bot, its rival to OpenAI's ChatGPT, marking a significant step for China's technology sector. The move follows new regulations by the Chinese government this month aimed at enabling AI developers to compete with international rivals while maintaining strict online information control. ERNIE Bot is the first domestic AI application to be fully accessible to the public in China, and is not available outside the country. Baidu plans to launch a range of new AI-native applications that allow users to fully experience the 4 core abilities of generative AI: understanding, generation, reasoning, and memory. The chatbot was initially released in March, but its availability was limited. By making it widely accessible, Baidu aims to gain substantial human feedback to swiftly improve the app. Generative AI apps such as ERNIE Bot are trained on large amounts of data and user interactions to answer questions, including complex ones, in human-like language. However, Chinese generative AI apps must adhere to the core values of socialism and not threaten national security, according to recently published guidelines. ERNIE Bot demonstrated its adherence to these guidelines when asked about sensitive topics, such as the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre or Taiwan's status, by either changing the subject or providing a response in line with the Chinese government's stance. The success of OpenAI's ChatGPT, which is banned in China, has sparked a global race to develop similar applications and raised concerns about potential misuse and disinformation. Under Chinese regulations, AI developers must conduct security assessments and submit filings on their algorithms to the authorities if their software is deemed to impact public opinion. AI-generated content must also be labeled. Baidu, one of China's largest tech companies, has faced competition from other firms like Tencent across various sectors. To diversify, it has sought to expand its cloud computing business and develop autonomous driving technology. Baidu's shares rose by 3.3% in Hong Kong on the day of ERNIE Bot's public launch. Another Chinese tech firm, SenseTime, has reportedly also received approval from Beijing for its service.